Alright, forgive me guys because I don't know what posted and what didn't off of my camera, so I went directly to YouTube, knowing that there's no time limits. Let me recap the last thing I remember talking about. Let's just go Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel, the money was made years ago. Vince McMahon went into bed with these people years ago. And like I said, now my memory's a little refreshed. Like I said, my buddy Bill from that wrestling show, that's what it's called, by the way, that wrestling show, with weekly podcasts, extras, commentary throughout Facebook all the time. You're really going to like the material he puts out. I'm a fan, and I'm a fellow producer myself, along with a Pennsylvania promoter. But Bill put it this way: when the Prince of Saudi Arabia asks you to do something, it's not really a request, it's an order. Where I beg to differ, WWE scheduling department, whoever it is, not really concerned about it. WWE has the power to go when and where it wants. With the backlash that this pay-per-view has received, not to mention key stars opting out to go to the event, having them to swap people like Matt Hardy and things like that. Not that he's a bad wrestler. Just people have morals. This may be sports entertainment. And I'm sure John would do it if it was anywhere else. I'm positive of that. But with a board of directors and billions of dollars each year, not to mention what's in their coffer from the beginning of Vince McMahon taking over his father's business and growing it exponentially, these people have the right to say no to Saudi Arabia. If there's contracts in place, then yes, refund their money and move on. The fans don't want it. The wrestlers clearly don't want it because it seems like every other day, if not more than once a day, you're hearing stories about wrestlers bailing out or contemplating bailing out. And don't get me started on the commentary with Renee Young. They're picking the bottom of the barrel, it seems, with commentary, just like Michael Cole doing commentary on Evolution. It should have been an all-women commentary, all-women wrestlers. They hit it out of the park regardless, but Michael Cole likes to insert himself into anything because he thinks he has, in my opinion, he thinks he has more credibility than Jim Ross. And the first time, you're going to find this funny, fans of mine. The first time I happened to watch a 5 a.m. repeat of New Japan Pro Wrestling and heard that Jim Ross was a part of the commentary team, that made me happier than a pig in shit because he's doing what he wants and when he wants on his own terms. Do I expect to see him in future WWE events? Yes, I certainly do. But the issue is, if I didn't already explain it, if I did, I'm repeating because now YouTube will let me capture this whole video. Daniel Cormier is set to come back, set to try out for WWE after his fight. I believe it's UFC 240. I could be wrong about the number. But what nauseates me is the feeling that true wrestling talent is being ignored just for star factor. Kind of like Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels coming to Crown Jewel. It's a cash grab. It's nothing more than that. They're putting their politics and belief aside for the sake of money. And you can argue these wrestlers aren't like independent wrestlers. They have money. They can choose to do or not do an event on any given Sunday, so to speak. But my problem is with just bringing in Ronda Rousey and within a month making her WWE champion kind of spits in the face and kicks in the gut every man wrestler and female wrestler in the back that is doing their best. This includes NXT up and comers that are doing their best to get ahead. And with talent acquisitions like this, it kind of makes it hard. Because yes, Ronda Rousey wanted to escape the physical, literal contact of MMA, but still stay a sports entertainer, which is fine. But I totally disagree with within 30 days giving her the title. There used to be a time, wrestling fans, if you remember way back when, that there was a chain of command when it came to championships. The Intercontinental title, which has been phased out completely, used to be the stepping stone that made you a contender for the world title. Now it's, let's slap a title on whoever's the most popular. And this bullshit that they're trying to acquire Serena Williams, the tennis star Serena Williams. I don't know if it's going to be a one-off or a short-term contract, or if they're actually going to teach her sports entertainment and professional wrestling. It's just another example of WWE acquiring NXT talent, training them, only to kick them in the gut, or kick them while they're down, rather, as they're just trying to build themselves up, for the names of Ronda Rousey and Daniel Cormier and Serena Williams, because they know they'll get ratings. They know they'll get buy rates to see what Serena can do in the ring. Since she's a tennis star, her tennis popularity will follow in to her popularity and or lack thereof in world wrestling entertainment. I, for one, think that she's going to get there, and it's not going to be the hype that world wrestling entertainment thinks it's going to be. She's a tennis star. Yeah, you can have her do some gimmicks. You can have her in a storyline. You can hype it up and use her name, but that's all this is. WWE using stars of actual sports. Not saying that wrestling doesn't require work and effort and determination, but they're not pushing the people that they've contracted. Hell, they just contracted NXT graduates 2 weeks ago. And it more or less says to those people in the back, if I was a wrestler in the back, I'd be like, what am I doing? I'm here. They have me under limited contracts or a startup contract, if you will. But it feels like they have no true desire to push what's already in their locker room. The future of wrestling is in the independents who hopefully, by the grace of God, get the chance to work for the monopoly. And I do say monopoly because, again, they bought out their competition. Now you're stuck with bi-weekly pay-per-views, $12.99, free or not, whatever, with no real writing behind it. Nothing to look forward to outside of The Undertaker, and he'll always be a legend. But the people in the back, the people that you've invested time and resources in, deserve an opportunity. And I don't understand why this is so hard. Like I said in a Facebook post to a friend a minute ago, before I came on air, wrestling is not hard. The physical aspect, yes, but promoting it and all the things that surround the promotion of a talent, it's idiot proof. You just have to have someone or multiple people that fans can suspend their disbelief for 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours if it's a pay-per-view, and make it believable. Their creative department sucks. And like Cody Rhodes said, if you believe for a second that anything happens without McMahon's approval, you're all naive. And props, I showed him props directly through Facebook. Many of you replied with agree, and I thank you for following me. Again, youtube.com/CWE Company, Twitter @CWE Company, and Facebook.com/CWE Company, and YouTube and all that, just keyword Wrestle Talk Show, all one word, or Joshua Zimmerman is the easiest way to access it. But I believe that the future is being robbed because they're trying to cash in on other sports' popularity. They're a wrestling organization. Work with your wrestlers. You spent the time, money, resources, and training, etc., etc. I don't understand. Like I said, this part of it is dummy proof. It's basically the wrestling version of how to run a business. Not even the wrestling version. How to run a business. And if I didn't mention it, because like I said, part one cut me off because I didn't know my camera would be an issue. I thought I could pre-record a show, multiple shows, and just post them every other day. That way there was original content. But it doesn't make sense to me. What needs to happen, like I said, is the brand split needs to stop. Stop competing with yourselves. You bought WCW out, and if the wrestling fan, as I know you guys do, follow the bouncing ball, you'll notice that 3/4 of the talent they acquired from WCW, along with their archive, their video archive, and most of their talent, they got rid of within a year after they acquired WCW, which I'd love to see wrestlers like Tommy Dreamer work on a regular basis and Raven, but yet they work independent shows. Now, whether this is a personal choice by them, I don't know. Maybe they wised up that the old timers, actually, it should be the other way around since they're pushing old timers like Hulk Hogan and all that. You think they'd be in their prime for Crown Jewel. But to sum up Crown Jewel, WWE needs to back out. Whether it's going to cost them money or not is regardless. But this is a company managed by shareholders. And I plan on listening to the conference call in full today with a review tomorrow. But I have a feeling that these shareholders are being snowballed by Vince McMahon. And like I said, in multiple entries, videos, posts, they're too used to it being a cash cow. There are independent shows that last 3 to 4 hours that are happening this week, if not already happened, for admission as low as $5. And you're going to get more access to the wrestlers and the promotion itself. The merchandise isn't going to be outrageous just because it has that WWE tag at the pant line of the shirt. Does not justify what they're doing. They're going to end up, and it's going to take a while. It's not going to be all us wrestling fans because a lot of us are diehard wrestling fans. I can sympathize with my audience. And since I've been going a while, you guys can help me out as we're going to do weekly, if not every other day, shows covering the topics of wrestling. You can find updates on our Facebook page. I share all the news that I get right away as soon as I see it. Feel free to comment on it. Anyone with experience in podcasting and wrestling at the same time, whether you're a viewer, promoter, wrestler yourself, I encourage you to come on to the show and tell me how Saudi Arabia is a good idea, how burying the talent that you have in your locker room who hasn't even had a chance to shine yet makes any sense, because it doesn't to me. It truly doesn't. Like I said in part 1, and like I said, guys, I'm only repeating because part 1 cut me off before I didn't know I had a time limit on my video. But the people in the back are your bread and butter for the future. Shane McMahon cannot wrestle his entire life. Were his matches back in the day great? Especially the one with Big Show, where he did that high dive off the Titantron rather, was amazing. And it was sold really well. And he is a sporty competitor. But you're more or less telling these young men and women that you worked so hard to become wrestlers. We gave you minimal contracts, and chances are, at the rate we're going, you won't get to see your full potential because we take care of our friends more than we take care of the future. Triple H needs to be removed as running WWE. Vince McMahon needs to be brought back because it insults me, and I'm not even a wrestler. I'm just a promoter. But it insults me that a wrestler like Triple H, who came from the ground up, married into the family, and can't respect that you start from the bottom and work your way up. Well, how are they expected to if they're not given the opportunity to work their way up? There's going to be wrestlers in the back at Crown Jewel forced to watch because they're not scheduled in an event. Maybe not all of them, and some of them may end up being jobbers because God forbid we don't appease this prince. But that brings me to this. They are governed by shareholders. These shareholders cannot convince me that they're 100% sold on the direction Vince McMahon, more importantly, well, he has the final say, but Vince McMahon and Triple H as the COO, I believe his title is putting this company in a direction where it'll thrive for years to come. It's almost like them saying, we've made our money. Now we're going to do what we want with the promotion. And this brings me back to my independent rant. Independent wrestlers work harder. They devote more of their time. And they're more accessible. And they actually appreciate people that show up. Whereas WWE expects you to show up. That's why when the report of the conference call of low live event attendance is not a surprise. It's like going to a Cleveland Browns football game. Are you really hyped up? Do you really not already know the outcome before you get your beer at the arena or take your seat? They find a way to lose. And this is wrestling, the juggernaut of wrestling, finding a way to lose. Stop bringing back your friends and nurture and build the talent that you've acquired through NXT and other outlets. I'm baffled, guys. I truly am. Because, like I said, wrestling promotes itself. You just have to have a good product. And independent wrestling does that because they enjoy what they do. They're entertaining when they do it. And they're not necessarily, your money's good, but they wrestle because they love the sport. Not because there's a multi-million dollars at the end of the day and a bonus for holding the title. They put their heart into it because they love what they do. I personally feel that World Wrestling Entertainment wrestlers, outside of your newer ones like Alicia Fox, Trish Stratus, Lita, all of them, Charlotte, all of them I'll have the utmost respect for because they are true women's wrestlers. Evolution proved that. WWE needs to understand that they need to go back, not TNA, but maybe convince the network to go back to PG-14, to give these promos, to give these matches, to give these wrestlers a chance to get cocky and on the edge and promote a good event. Even if they're not wrestling, hype up the televised program, whether it be Raw, SmackDown, or a pay-per-view. And like I said, when you buy WCW, you ran out of talent. You have no interest, according to Vince McMahon, for TNA. But TNA has the potential, I believe, once they get rid of Dixie Carter, to turn it all around. Bring somebody in that's wrestling friendly, that can hire good writers with good storylines, good plots, good everything all across the board that they used to have. It seems like, and I'm not going to lie to you, I cover wrestling, so I should be a little more attentive. But a lot of it I catch the next day on Facebook because I can take or leave Raw at this point. It's not like it used to be where you needed to watch Raw and you especially needed to watch the main event because you knew that Payback was coming on SmackDown. This is the problem with the brand split. You're made to believe that it's two different entities, and it would do better for their pay-per-views. Let Raw run into SmackDown and vice versa. Build it up for 3 weeks and then put on, with hype and proper promotion and a great main event or multi-main events, an excellent pay-per-view. I remember having a friend that every month, it didn't matter, this is back in 1993, it didn't matter. He ordered every pay-per-view. Whether he could afford it or not, he worried about it when the cable bill came. But that was loyalty and that was dedication because the product was good. The product was worth the $80. And yes, come back at me, $12.99 with the network, but it's not even worth $5 if the product sucks. This is just a test sample, guys. We're going to do more later tonight, if not tomorrow morning. Again, follow me at facebook.com/CWE Company, youtube.com/CWE Company, or search the words Joshua Zimmerman and Wrestle Talk Show. Feel free to email suggestions to the show to cwecorporate@gmail.com, all one word. We're going to get our Twitter up sometime today. Give me your feedback, guys, on shows. And I welcome anyone who wants to three-way this video and make a panel and we can discuss pros and cons. Anybody's welcome. And I hope you all enjoyed this. Like I said, it was a test run after being out for almost a year due to computer issues, but with a smartphone, now I can accomplish anything. So, thank you for your time, guys. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll see you in a couple days. This is Joshua Zimmerman of Continental Wrestling Entertainment and Wrestle Talk Show, signing out.